No, no, no. Why do you always get to pick where we go to dinner? Why? I don't want your vegan crap for dinner anymore, Dennis.
Vegan.
You love that restaurant, The Bean. Oh, but it's vegan. It's good for you. Yeah. Have you looked in the mirror? How do you look like this when all you eat is vegan? You eat like a rabbit. Yeah. Oh my God. And we're live? What? Oh.
Holy shit, look at that guy on the wrong side of the highway. He's going to kill somebody. Hey! Hey!
What's going on? Joker wants to race. All right, come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Put your window down!
He wants something. He's probably drunk.
You're going the wrong way!
What?
You're going the wrong way!
We're going.
Yeah. How did he know? Thank you.
An ancient evil awakened to slaughter his family. A mythical quest was revealed. Treacherous perils await. Lovers bound by destiny. Darkness gathers as a new game begins. One man's rage will shape worlds. Kor-Drath, The Awakening. Only on Indiegogo. Back it now!
Well, hello, everybody. Once again, you saw a little bit of behind the scenes, how Dennis abuses me before the show begins with his wanting to go vegan. Ugh.
The sad part is everybody out there knows me and they know I hate veganism. I don't eat it. My daughter and I fought over it. I am a paleo guy. I like meat. I like to eat steak.
Clip it. Dennis said he likes meat.
And this is why we're done.
He
Show's
does.
over. Oh, wait, but we can't be over because we haven't even brought out a guest today.
No, Dennis loves meat, especially Five Guys.
Oh, guys,
Not
steak,
the restaurant.
pork, it's all good. I am not a vegan, never have been.
Uh-huh. But you've eaten there. Hello, Marcus. Look at that. Marcus is first up in the chat.
Marcus was first today.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Did he beat Randy in arm wrestling? What the hell?
I know. I think they must. Marcus was driving. That's what's weird.
I know. That's the weird thing. Marcus is driving and wow. Randy, what is up? You're slipping. You're letting Marcus come in before you, Randy. Can't have that. MD, hello. Cole King, good to see you as well. I hope you enjoy our Arnold Schwarzenegger. We have friends in high places. So, just saying. And Joe, what is up? And you got to see us in our acting debut in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The reimagining Dennis and Andy go to a con. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. There you go. Marcus is on lunch. Ooh, it's a late one. So nice. Oh, by the way, MD, I hope you got the video from the portfolio review. I put it in our shared Dropbox folder. So hopefully you got it. Torchbearers in the house. All right. We have a guest and we don't want him waiting too long or he might just bounce. And then I got to do the whole show with Dennis. And then I'm really pulling a lot of weight.
Literally.
I know. That chair's on wheels. It's hard to push or pull. So.
But guys, guess who we have?
Who, Dennis?
Why, we have an awesome cartoonist.
We can show some stuff first. Cartoonist Geoff Grogan. He sent me some stuff. This is issue number 2 of Green Screen, which we'll talk about. Very funny book. He sent me lots of stuff. And then we've got Captain Daiquiri Jones. Wait, did I say that right?
Yes.
Nice. I knew I did. And look at these. These are huge.
Which Andy's never heard before.
Look at why? See, this is the abuse I take. It's not physical abuse. I can take that. I'm a tough guy. It's the verbal abuse I have to hear from him.
Oh,
so
email you didn't work. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we will.
There you go. I got this. It didn't work. Are you talking about the Dropbox? Because I put the video in the Dropbox that you and I share. So, all right, we'll talk about it later. Anyhow, let's bring on Geoff. He doesn't want to hear about our travails. Did I use that word right?
Sure.
Nice. I like to get the word of the day and try to work it into a sentence whenever I can. Hello, Geoff.
Hey, guys. How are
Look, you stuck it out. We're impressed.
Still here.
Well, I'm waiting to hear a good vegan restaurant recommendation.
Well, there is a couple in town here. So if you guys do come to visit, Andy was right, and he had to ask me off screen if he got the name of it right.
Well,
my daughter was vegan before she moved to Korea, so we used to go to vegan restaurants, and there is a really good one in town called Bean, and they even have, take after my heart, a great tater tot casserole recipe, which was very much from my home state of Wisconsin. The chef's actually from Wisconsin. It's a great place, so if I had to go vegan, that would be a good place to eat. Although I am a carnivore, so, I did eat the fish sandwiches and the steak burgers. But in order to go to eat with my daughter, we had to go to places like that. It is what it is. I am a loving father. I do these things for my family.
Oh, God. If I had to go vegan, I would decide which leg I wanted to start eating first because I could get around in a wheelchair.
Your left one.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest. I can't do the vegan thing either. It's beyond me. But I try. I don't eat red meat, and I try to limit the amount of fish I eat. But I can't get away from chicken. That's the one thing.
I love chicken, love red meat, love turkey. Dennis can't eat chicken. He's allergic to it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Weirdo.
How can you be allergic?
Yeah, chicken enzymes. So chicken, eggs. But there are workarounds and you find out. So I do
Wow.
duck eggs, so that's what I eat every day. Duck eggs.
Wow. So you bake with duck eggs too?
Sure.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
a new one to me. Interesting. Okay.
Yep. Just hard to get eggs in a restaurant, so I do all the cooking at home.
Yeah.
He does.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's
Not
interesting.
well, but he
Yeah.
does. Do all
Gross
the
tater
cooking.
tot casserole. No, guys. Everybody who comes over, even people who really want meat in it, actually love my tater tot casserole.
Sounds good, actually.
Is not natural.
I got to be honest. I can't back that up. I've never had it. He's never made it for me. Never offered it to me.
Nope.
See?
Wow.
I know.
That's unbelievable after all these years.
Exactly, Jeff. Knew I liked you for a reason. You bastard.
So, guys, starting next week, it's going to be the Jeff and Andy show.
Well, it's going to be Andy because somebody's going on vacation.
That is true. I am heading up north to go hang out with family, go help out with some projects, all that kind of fun stuff. So I will be gone the next few weeks. So you will be stuck with just this guy. I am so sorry. I know a lot of you guys won't show up, but do it anyway. Let's make Andy feel good until I return.
We'll have higher viewership. You don't know what I have up these short sleeves. I might have a guest in mind.
You could.
You better still hope you have a job when you come back.
Look at that. Duck eggs are great, though. We have chickens, ducks, and turkeys. Yeah, love to hear that.
All right. Well, let's get into this. Jeff, we start every show off when we have a guest that's never been on before. You're new to our audience. So Dennis always asks the guest the same question. So Dennis, take it away.
Our viewership always loves to hear our guests' origin stories. So, what was your first comic book? And, did you buy it? Did somebody give it to you? And then how did that transition into you getting into cartooning?
Oh, man, that's a hell of a story.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, let's see. My God, the first comic book I had, it's got to have been a Superboy comic.
Superboy, not Superman, huh?
No, it had to be a Superboy comic.
Nice.
I'm thinking about it now. I grew up in the 60s. So
yeah.
It was probably around 64, 65. I was at my grandmother's house. And she, in order to, placate me, keep me busy or whatnot, she gave me a Superboy comic. And I loved Superboy. It was great. Partly because I was just a kid and you relate to Superboy as a kid, right? And I love the color more than anything else. Really, what stood out to me was not only the fact that he could fly, but it was just the color of the comics. And I used to, this was one of my favorite things to do was to, I know this is sacrosanct, but I used to cut out the figures from the covers, the front covers, because I loved the paper.
Oh,
I know, right?
That hurts.
I know. And I used to, treat them like dolls or put them on popsicle sticks and move them around like puppets. That was like one of my favorite things to do. Although you always ended up with Superboy with half a leg missing or something because there was something in the way, it wasn't always a perfect figure. So,
Jeff, that's funny. When I was growing up, I did that too, except I was a teenager. I cut out the figures in Playboy and I treated them like girlfriends.
Yeah,
so it's close.
Yeah, similar kind of.
Similar.
I can't say it was the same because my proclivities weren't, awakened at that point.
I was a teenager.
Yeah, of course.
A homely teenager that,
Weren't we all?
I know it's hard to imagine looking at me now, but there was a time.
Yeah, it's amazing how you go from a homely teenager to a homely adult, balding adult. Just one of those things, those little life's mysteries. See, right there?
Dennis, get on the
But
train.
you notice he wears a hat.
This is very fashionable now.
It is.
It is. No, it really is. Back when I started doing it, oh no, it wasn't fashionable, but now.
Now it's very, Jean-Luc Picard.
Dwayne Johnson, Dave Bautista, you got all those guys now that just love that, and everybody else. But I will say, Captain Picard, it was, the one, and had the hair that went around there.
Very
and
cool.
He made it sophisticated.
Yes, he did.
That's right. Joe actually brought up a movie I want to make, Homely Alone. But I wasn't left alone. It's just I'm homely, so I was
I
alone.
gotta say that planes, trains, and automobile thing was pretty cool. How did you guys get that? Is that AI?
It is. A friend of ours on Twitter named Belle Winters puts these videos together. So she did one of Star Trek, which was about 10 minutes long, with 4 or 5 of our friends.
Mm-hmm.
And she did, and then she even did a Kor-Drath one featuring some stuff from Conan.
Yeah.
With a buddy of ours in the Kor-Drath Conan role, not me. And I was this other character in it, but I asked her if she would do the planes, trains, and automobiles. What we actually wanted was the scene where they're in bed and it's like, those aren't pillows. But you need, at least at this stage of AI, the faces have to be more straight on.
Yeah.
And they're not in that scene. So I said, well, how about the scene in the car? And she's like, oh yeah.
So I'm guessing, did you, not to turn this around on you guys, but just I'm thinking about, how did you get did you just have to take one shot of your faces, or did you have to take multiple 360 shots?
I honestly have no idea. We always sent her. She pulled our faces from probably videos we've done.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that we sent her is when she sent it back to us at first. The voices were a little off because she does a lot of work. She'll comb through videos to get sampling of besides your face, but your voice. And I asked her.
It sounded too much like Steve Martin and John Candy when we got it.
So we recorded the dialogue,
Okay.
and I sent her that, and she just popped it in.
Man, that's amazing. So it's amazing where we're headed with AI. I have no idea, but
I know. I mean, we're not here right now. We're actually at a strip bar, and
right, exactly.
but it's Dennis's turn to choose. So unfortunately, I'm sitting at a strip bar, and there's a naked gay guy in front of me dancing because what Dennis wants, Dennis gets. Wow. Anyhow, let's get back to Superboy. I don't know how Dennis derailed us like this. He always does.
Yeah. Well, Superboy. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Was it Kurt Swan who was on the cover?
I don't know if it was. Honestly, I don't know if it was Swan or maybe Schaffenberg.
Was it Superboy or was it Adventure Comics?
No. That's a good question. I don't recall. I'm pretty sure it was Superboy. But when he split from Adventure Comics, when he had his own comic, I'm not sure when that happened, but I'm pretty sure it was Superboy. I remember the logo,
I imagine it probably was, because I know some of Neil Adams' cover assignments when he first started at DC were on Superboy, but I'm pretty sure those were higher issue numbers.
Yeah.
Which means the book obviously was around for a while. So I'm guessing it probably was Superboy.
Yeah, I think it was too. I don't remember exactly when. I know he was in Adventure Comics, but then Superboy.
But it might have been Kurt Swan. I only have a few issues of Superboy from that time period, but it's because of the Neil Adams covers.
Sure. Yeah.
So
those are great. I mean, wow, those Neil Adams covers from the '60s are just like awesome, just incredible.
You remember the one? It was on Superboy where he's on the moon and he's sitting there and his head's down and he's got pretty stark lighting on him, and he just looks totally dejected and depressed, and then way in the background is the Earth. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that one. God, that sounds like a great one. I'm going to look for it now.
Just Google search Neil Adams Superboy covers. You'll find it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, no, I'm remembering more like it's probably 64, 65. So
yeah.
Neil started drawing the covers, what, 67, something like that?
67, 68 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 68. Yeah. And then, after Superboy, it's funny. I remember comics primarily at my grandmother's house because I would go up there. My mother was ill in the mid 60s and my father would take us to my grandmother's house. And so I remember getting comics with her because there was a shop down the road from her that sold comics on a rack, So I get Superboy. I remember having a Spider-Man that had Green Goblin on the cover.
Oh,
yeah, which I think I cut that one out too.
Oh, that's the one you're kicking yourself for, because that would be worth money now. Because I mean, if you're still talking if you're still talking 64,
64, 65.
65, yeah, that's. I mean, Spider-Man
John
was
Romita.
what, 61.
Yeah,
Let's see, yeah, that's it. Was it 61 when Spider-Man debuted?
I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, so I mean, that's John Romita Sr. probably doing the art.
God, I love John Romita. And,
Oh God, so did I.
I love John Romita, the mood of John Romita's comics. There's something about his inks,
Yeah.
There was a kind of mood that was created. I love Steve Ditko, but it's a totally different mood than John Romita. And,
Oh yeah.
And John Romita's stuff, even when he was inking like Gil Kane, I know you've been posting some Gil Kane.
Yeah.
And there's that one, with J.J. Jameson's son as the wolf. I can't remember.
Oh yeah. What was this? Was it Manwolf? Was that the name?
Oh, look at that cover.
Manual.
It was. Yeah, it was Manwolf. There it is.
I found it.
Man, that is awesome.
Look at that lighting, and I mean, it's so freaking nice.
It really is beautiful. And the modeling of the form, it's just so dramatic, so great, And
I miss
so
word
different.
balloons on covers too.
Yeah, I know, right? I like that too. The thing about Neil Adams covers in the 60s for DC was when you opened the book, like if you picked up, like I remember Jimmy Olsen covers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It just totally threw you because you're expecting something along the lines of what Adams was doing, and you ended up getting something that was DC circa 1964 or something,
Yeah.
Totally different. And I have to say it was kind of a disappointment in a sense, because you got those Neil Adams covers, you wanted that kind of quality on the interior art, and a lot of times you didn't get it, especially on Jimmy Olsen.
That was the thing, and it wasn't until, I guess, being a professional cartoonist, adulthood, whatever, that I started appreciating guys like Wayne Boring and Al Plastino.
Yeah.
Because I love, like as a kid, forget it. I saw their Superman stuff in like reprints or something. I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
But now I look at Wayne Boring and Al Plastino's work, and I'm just blown away by it.
Yeah. Oh, Al Plastino. I just had an interesting conversation with, because I do a podcast for those who are listening. It's called Blockhead, and you can find it on Apple Podcasts and whatnot. And I just had a conversation, it hasn't gone up yet, with Bill Griffith, underground cartoonist, Zippy the Pinhead and all that stuff. He's got a beautiful book out about Ernie Bushmiller and Nancy. It's called Three Rocks, the story of Ernie Bushmiller. And he mentions Al Plastino in it because Plastino was one of Ernie Bushmiller's assistants and ghosts towards the end of Bushmiller's life, which I didn't know. And Plastino said, because Bushmiller was such a taskmaster and a control freak, and he controlled like every little spike that was on Nancy's hair.
Really?
Yeah. Plastino said that working for Bushmiller was harder than working on Superman, because Bushmiller was so difficult to please.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. I always knew Plastino was a Superman guy.
Yeah.
You'll have to pardon me. I'm just getting over a cold.
Sure.
But I had no idea Plastino was a guy who worked on Nancy, of all things, right?
Well, I mean, wasn't it Stan Drake who went from doing, his great comic strips, Juliet Jones and all that, to doing Blondie?
Yeah. Oh, was it Blondie he did? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Blondie. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I get him confused with somebody, Leonard Starr, who did, or who also did like a more.
Oh, Leonard Starr did Annie?
Did he? Yeah, he did Annie, but before that, didn't he do like something like, I don't know, Friday Foster or a partner?
No, Friday Foster, which is a strip I just discovered. Friday Foster was with the black woman, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just discovered that strip. Not kidding. About 3 months ago, they put out a softcover collection.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And it was at the comic shop. And I'm like, I've never heard of this. And I'm just looking at it. And the artwork is amazing.
Yeah. It's
but Leonard Starr did, damn it. I've got a collection of it over there too. And I'm blank. It was another soap opera strip.
Yeah, it was a soap. That's why I was thinking it was Apartment 3G.
Amigos?
Nope. That's Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't Apartment something. That was a different strip.
Yeah, that was a different strip. Oh well, I'm gonna have to look it up at some point.
Oh, see, here's our resident. He knows everything. He said John Forte drew a lot of Superboy.
Oh wow, cool. That's
So.
nice to know. I didn't know that name before.
So did you get into after that one? And obviously, like you were saying, this was way before comic shops and stuff.
Oh yeah, way before.
Did you start making more regular trips, I guess, or try to get comics more regularly after that one?
Well, it was difficult during my first 10 years because we lived in a neighborhood where there wasn't any shops or anything, and the only time I ever got to like a corner store that would have comics was at my grandmother's house, or if my parents took me out, somewhere. And I remember one night they were buying furniture next door. There was a drugstore, and that's where I got a Neil Adams cover of Superman tempting Aquaman and Jimmy Olsen with a glass of water or a pitcher of water.
I know that cover.
It's a great cover. That is a freaking great cover.
That's one that's disappointing because I saw that obviously as a back issue, and I was like, oh my God, I would love to. And I already knew Neil didn't draw the inside, but I was just like, oh, what I would give to have Neil draw an Aquaman story.
Yeah, it is great. That is a great cover, and the story inside is disappointing after seeing that cover. But what can live up to Neil Adams, right? So
I know.
But when my folks moved, they moved to a neighborhood where we were closer to a place that was like a place my dad would get his newspapers at on Sunday after church, and we'd stop there, and I could get all the comics I wanted. And this was about 1970. So that's when my habit became real. And after that, it was, every time we drove by the drugstore, which was often because to go into town, you had to pass by it.
Sure.
And the guy had a great collection of comics every time he went by. So I was all through the 70s, I was buying everything that Marvel and DC put out. And when I started going to junior high, that was in town. And at lunchtime, all the other kids would be having lunch, and I would skip lunch, take my lunch money, and run up the street on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Comics came into the local pharmacy up on the main street there, on Main Street, which was in Endicott, New York. It was called Union Pharmacy. And there was an older woman in there who got to know me. And because I would be up there like pretty much 5 days a week at lunchtime buying comics, with whatever money I could scrape together. And I was kind of, because I was a little guy, I think, she took a liking to me, and she would put aside comics for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The boxes would come in, and if the comics weren't out, new comics weren't out, she'd let me go through the boxes and find the new comics.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I loved her. I loved that store. I loved buying comics there. It's still one of my favorite memories is thinking about that store. And it was my favorite place ever to buy comics, I have to say.
So did you start drawing young as a kid and just realize something I want to do? Yep.
My mother was a student in school when I was like 2-3 years old. She had gone after she had me. She was in the middle of her college education, and she started taking classes again when I was about 2 years old. And she was always artsy, my mother. She ended up becoming a musician. She became a classical guitarist, but she was painting then. She always drew and she always painted. So my first memory of drawing is her standing next to me, making a painting for class and showing me, to keep me busy at the table next to her, she showed me a thing in the newspaper about how to draw a stick figure and how to make a stick figure look like it's twirling. And so that's what I did. And once I started, that was it. And I was like, in my mind, I was 3 years old. I don't know if I was 3 or 4, but it was early. And from that moment on, I was drawing. And, I'm 64 now. So I'm still drawing, but yeah, that's another very clear memory to me was that. So I started then, and then, you just, when you're buying comics, what do you want to do if you draw? You want to copy the comics,
Oh yeah.
And I loved Superboy. I loved Superman. I loved Neil Adams stuff. And man, I just drew all the time, you know. Comics were a source of constant inspiration to me. I always looked at them, you know, more for the artwork and more for, you know, who the artist was, and more as a source of inspiration, you know,
Yeah.
to make drawings. And so that's kind of where I got it from, you know.
So when did you start working? Because obviously, I assume you've been a freelancer, you know, your whole career.
Well, yeah, I've been, I would say my career has been a kind of odd, circuitous route. And you'll notice, like, you know, my website's up there. It's a lot of different stuff that looks different. Because what happened with comics was, I got interested in doing comic strips as well as comic books. I went to art school, and initially I studied film when I was school, because I thought, well, they didn't have a comics, you know, class or major or anything like that, but they had film, and the film department had a little bit of animation in it. So I thought, well, if I want to tell stories, you know, I could do it through film and animation, you know. So I started doing that, and I started doing a little bit of animation, but then things changed. I fell out of school. I quit school for a couple of years, and I did some odd jobs and stuff like that. Went back to school, and by this time, you know, when you're on your own in those days, there was nothing to make film with. You know, unless you had a lot of money, buying a camera was expensive. Buying film was expensive. Getting it developed was expensive. Never mind, you didn't have editing equipment. So,
Right.
you know, there was nothing you could do. So a buddy of mine said to me, you know, the one thing you can do alone is you can paint, and you can draw and you can paint. I was like, yeah, I guess I could. So I started painting. And for a long time, that was where my head was at, in painting. And
Oh, wow.
so I studied painting. I finished my degree in painting. I went to graduate school after a period of time in painting and in art history.
Oh,
And
okay.
I got a dual degree from Pratt Institute in painting and in art history.
Oh,
And
wow.
after that, after graduate school, and by this, there's a lot more to the story, but I was in my mid-30s when I got out of graduate school. Then I started looking for work, and I had been teaching on and off before that, and I ended up here at Adelphi University, where I've been teaching for almost 30 years now. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow. And what's the actual course or courses you teach? What do you teach there?
Well, it's changed, you know, over the years. You start off, in my first years, I started off teaching just about everything they asked me to teach, because the department was smaller. And the chair, a guy by the name of Harry Davies, who hired me, Harry kind of knew, because I had a background in both art history and in studio art, that I could do a whole bunch of stuff. And so I taught art history, and I taught painting. I taught all the foundation courses that you usually teach, like drawing 1, drawing 2,
Oh, sure.
two-dimensional design, color theory, all that kind of stuff I taught for a couple of years. As time went on, I went through a bunch of stuff. Another chair came along. He had me doing different things. And then I became chair. And
wow.
I was chair for like 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And when I became chair, I decided, you know, times were changing. And I decided maybe it's time to introduce, you know, some animation into the program. And with the support of the faculty and the university, I was able to start that. And so I created a whole suite of classes around character design, animation, storyboarding, all that kind of stuff. We created an animation minor here, which is a pretty heavy minor. It's like 7 courses.
Did you have to bring on another instructor or something too? Or
well, because it's, you know, it's like the program was finally, after, you know, doing individual courses for a variety of years, the program was finally instituted in the last year or so. I would say it's maybe 2 years old.
Okay.
So far, I've taught most of the courses. We have a guy downstairs in communications who teaches the foundational animation course.
Mhm.
But as time goes on, we'll be adding a couple of adjuncts, bringing in people who are really, more well-versed than I am in contemporary technology.
Sure.
To be teaching those, because I'm pretty old school. My stuff is still based in hand-drawn stuff. I do a lot of stuff on Procreate, for animation.
Oh, yeah.
And the world today requires that students start working in a variety, of ways that are much more diverse than that.
Yeah.
And engaged more with contemporary technology. So that's what I want to do. We want to bring on some other people, to do that. And then when I leave, obviously they'll be bringing some people in who are,
Right.
really well versed in it. And I'm kind of excited about that. It's nice to have set up a program, get the ball rolling, and hand it over to somebody who's younger and ready to take the reins,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
anyway, all along the way, right? I was either painting. I spent a long time painting, but painting led to, if you look at my website, you'll see painting led to collage. And
I noticed a couple of the larger books that I showed in the beginning.
Yeah.
Are that way. It's
Mhm.
hard for me to read the tabs because I'm so far away. Which
Yeah.
one would I click on at the top, and then I could go to it?
Let me see. Oh God, I'm gonna pull it up myself. You pardon me a second. Let me see.
No, go right ahead, because
Yeah.
from back here I can't even read the tabs.
Sure. Let me. I don't even remember. So let's see. I got under portfolio. You'll see collages, comics, and animation.
Which one's portfolio? How many in? I can make out.
It's okay. So if you go from Geoff Grogan, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll open up, and you'll see the top one says collage.
Is this the right one? No.
Let me see. Where am I now? No, let's see. Yeah, that should. I think. Let me see here. No, what is that green screen? No, go back one. Yeah, go back one. I think that's it. And if you slide down one to the top one, nope. Keep going back to the other. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wait, here it is. Here
Yep.
it is. Yeah. That was it.
You click on collages, so you can
go.
see
Yeah.
in the collages. Oh wow, that page can't be found. That's weird.
Oh,
well, it should be there.
That's weird. The things you learn when you click on, you go, oh no.
No, it's there on my. It should be there, man. Try it again.
That's weird. Let me click on the image.
Okay, don't go to the image. Click on the word.
No, I did. That was the first thing.
Oh wow, that's bizarre. It's coming up on my website.
Is it really? That's
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, that's bizarre.
That
Why
is.
would that be?
I don't know.
Well, that's a new one. I mean, maybe it's the browser you're in, but
I'm using Chrome, but let's just see with every other one.
Works on Chrome.
Oh, comic strips works. At least that's what happened when I clicked on it. Yeah, this one worked.
Huh.
Oh well, we can just talk about this stuff.
Well, okay, if you want to, sure. Well,
Did it work for you?
Yep.
Collage worked for him. We'll share your screen then.
Yeah, I'll pop it on mine.
He'll share his. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Well, I had been out of comics for a long time. I'd been primarily working in painting, and I've been primarily working in collage and working towards a studio art degree, career, more or less, a gallery art career. And I showed a lot in the 90s and early 2000s in Brooklyn and around Manhattan, a variety of independent places. I think it was 2004. I think the most visible place I showed was a place called the Drawing Center, which is a well-known place in Lower Manhattan for independent, independent artists and up-and-coming artists. And I showed a couple of collages there, and then I showed a variety of other shows during that period of time. But working in collage and working in comic strip imagery, like the Hulk there, which comes from a Jack Kirby drawing, all that kind of stuff. Working in collage kind of led me into I'm itching to make comics out of this stuff.
Sure.
And so what I started first doing was working with the collages and making comics out of the collages. And that's what that book, Lookout Monsters, is. And for that, I won a Xeric grant in, I can't remember what year it was, 2006 or 7 or 8. I don't remember. But it was one of those years. And I got a Xeric grant to do that book, which was put together really a bunch of collages,
Right.
and paintings that I've been doing to tell a story.
Yeah.
And the collages are made all out of the New York Times.
Uh-huh.
So what I used to do, I had this big studio in Brooklyn, and I used to rip up the New York Times, and I had baskets of bins of the Times. Like I'd rip up advertisements that had color in them. So I'd put, red over here. I have, oranges over here, yellows over here. I'd have blues and blood, and I had bins and bins and bins of the newspaper ripped up. And I used to glue these together to make these collages. So a lot of them are really big. Like some of them are.
That's what I was going to ask, is what size are these things?
Well, if you're looking at that one there with the big red arrow on it, that one is like, I don't know, like 68 inches by 80 inches or something. It's huge.
Holy crap. What do you like? What is the base that you put everything down on? A piece of board? Like what?
No. I took sheets of newspaper. I would take sheets of newspaper and build my own paper out of it. I'd glue together sheets of the newspaper, and I'd make it so that I'd glue it in multiple layers to make it thick enough that it would be a sturdy support. And then I'd start working on top of it. And in this case, as you can see, I left some of the plain sheets of paper, visible. Most of the time, like if you look at the one on the right there, the guy who's holding up the rock, his name's Colossus. That guy, that one there. Yeah. All of the background is just ripped and torn paper. It's not like individual sheets of paper. So,
Right.
All of them are different, depending on what I felt was right for the image. But some of them are really big. Some of them are like that one's a really big one. Again, it's like 5 feet by 6 feet or 7 feet, something like that. So they're
when
huge.
It's done, do you like put some type of coating like over the whole thing, like brush some clear coating over it, or?
Well, that's how you glue it together. I was using an acrylic that was silica based, and so it had a very flat kind of surface, which I didn't want to apply a gloss to it because I wanted you to be able to feel the paper. So, relate to the paper as paper instead of like having a sheen that you had to see through, So the surface is very flat in that sense. But it's all glued together, and the glue is really strong glue. So,
Sure.
So it doesn't fall apart real easily.
And I hope you worked in a well-ventilated space.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was an aroma to that glue that like Druggy's friend here would love. Yeah. Well, he's been to rehab, so
yeah.
I drug test him once a month.
That one is a pretty big one too. So some of them are really big, and I after doing that for a while, I just wanted to make comics.
And speaking of that, we'll go to green screen. Because out of the stuff you sent, I was able to look at everything, but I was able to read this. These two.
Yeah.
Man, I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you.
Because, just looking at the cover and stuff, obviously it's a great retro vibe. I love, you can tell because we do a retro cover for Kor-Drath.
Yeah. We're from the same.
Hanna-Barbera. It was great. And the story of Snow White.
Yeah. Well, like that, and you got, just everything. You got Disney in there with the Mickey. Like, so how did this come about? Why did you think of this idea? Like, what was it?
There's also a video actually that I should pull up and show you at some point. But the story, again, I love movies, right? Yeah. I love movies. I love animation. Despite even what's going on in green screen, I love Walt Disney stuff. The whole history of comics and animation, I'm like deeply immersed in it, right?
Sure.
So all of that stuff I love. And I had this idea, you know, it's a simple idea. And the idea was just that what if some character, you know, a movie star or something, got lost in a universe where every movie was a real world? But it was like a twisted real world, you know, a twisted movie. Like, you know, Snow White, the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs wouldn't be exactly how Disney told it or how anybody else told it.
Oh,
Or,
sure.
you know, they go to a place where it, like the movie Frankenstein, you know, I get to draw all that great stuff. But I could play with do a weird Mad Magazine kind of movie adaptation too.
Yeah.
And so that was the idea. You know, the idea was just let's have fun with movies and you know, have the opportunity to tell these stories. And so I found, you know, I thought it through and I began playing around with a character who I liked and a scenario I liked, and one thing led to another. And you know, it's when you're telling a story, it's like how do I bring these characters together? What's the impetus? What throws them into this universe?
Right.
And in this particular case, you know, I thought it through. I came up with the idea that there, you know, this starlet who was a sex symbol, sort of made a deal with the devil kind of thing to receive an Oscar, and in order to sort of prove her value to those people who looked down at her because she was a sex symbol. And the Oscar came to her then by magic, right? But at some point or another, the Oscar gets stolen, and it's stolen and taken into this other galaxy or alternative reality where movies are real. And because it's been stolen and because it was magic, she's also thrown into this universe. And a chase ensues where she's got to find, you know, the Oscar if she wants to get back to her reality and the life she led before.
Right.
And thrown into it all along with her is this guy who is this, you know, this very little person, right? Very short guy, who's also a stuntman, very crude guy, who's been around.
He reminded me of Danny DeVito.
Yeah, exactly. And that's who I was thinking of. I was thinking of Danny
perfect.
DeVito.
I'm so glad. I was like, that just reminds me of Danny DeVito so much, especially from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And that's you know, who was Danny DeVito was the inspiration, right?
Great.
So anyway, so you know, together they're thrown into this universe, and then they fall into the first world they fall into. Well, the first encounter actually, and I don't think I sent you this, was because there's a 0-0 issue.
Okay.
Kind of an origin story. And if you really want it, I'll send it to you. I wasn't as happy with the artwork in that one. So that's why I was like, Andy Smith, man, he's a great artist. I'm not sure I want to send him this.
Yeah. Don't be foolish.
But anyway, so I'll send it to you. But anyway, it opens the story and tells the story of how she falls into this universe and how he falls into it with her. And the first encounter they have is with a kind of like Star Wars scenario, except, you know, Darth Vader is not Darth Vader. He's actually, you know, Marvin the Martian from.
Oh yeah, dude, that's cool.
Yep.
Anyway, so, and that's a very brief interlude, and since we go into this one, and in the second issue, what if you're going to start off with a story, right? And you're going to start off with them falling into movie land. What better movie to fall into than Snow White? You know, because it was the first feature length, a great feature length animated film. So, and that gets me into playing around with Disney, and you know, I have ambivalent feelings about Disney.
Sure.
You know, for a variety of reasons. And it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do that book, and I love doing it. And I hope, you know, your enjoyment of it may be impetus to bring it back, because it's sort of on hiatus at the moment.
Okay.
But it is the kind of thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know you said, you know, did you work more traditionally for this? So pen and paper, except obviously for the coloring, or?
No, I worked, I started working in Procreate.
Oh, so you did this whole thing in Procreate, huh?
Yep, I did.
Wow.
And I colored it in Procreate also.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know a few guys that do that. Because Procreate, no, I have a PC. I don't have a Mac. So is Procreate just for your iPad, or can it be on your desktop as well?
You know, I've not explored that. I don't know. I've worked solely on my iPad with it, and
Right.
I've loved that experience. You know, working on the iPad. So it took me. You know, it was interesting. I thought it was going to be a difficult transition to the iPad.
Yeah.
Because I'd always been pen and ink, and obviously I love materials. You know, painting and collage. And my collage books are all, you know, worked on paper. I mean, they're all paper and glue and stuff. So I was always like that. And what happened was I was not happy with the scans. I was really unhappy with the scans I was getting with stuff I was doing. It was just, you know, it's just not, first of all, I had to get an 11x17 scanner. And even then I was not getting what I wanted out of it. So I was looking for a new scanner, and my wife said, "Why don't you try the iPad and see if you?" I was like, "Come on, I can't draw on an iPad. I'm old school. Come on, only you know." And at the time, I had a disparaging view of those people who worked only digitally. So, you know, but then the iPad was there, an Apple Pencil was there. Give it a try. I started drawing with it. I was like, "Holy crap, this is amazing," you know. So I started working on it in 2017. And at the time, I was doing comic strips. I was working on a comic strip for Go Comics for a while.
Oh, okay.
I did that for a while. I did that for like 5 or 6 years, and I was still doing that then. And at the time, I was also working with somebody at King Features trying to develop something that ended up going nowhere. But that's the spiking the lens thing that's on another page.
No, all right.
But anyways, I started doing that, and one thing led to another. I got used to working on it. I was really happy with it, and I'm still really happy with it. It's got a lot of options on it, and you can really get a nice line with it. You know, there's a lot you can really do with it that I'm really happy with. So I still work with it, and sometimes I miss working on paper. You know, I was talking to my wife the other day about doing collage work again. I don't know. We'll see as time goes on. But right now.
Was this done on an iPad too?
Yep.
Oh my God. This is one of my favorites because it's so, you know, Alex Toth in regards to the layout. Yeah. When he was doing his Hanna-Barbera character designs.
That's what it's based on, man. That's what it's based on.
Oh,
Alex Toth, yeah, sure. Well, you can, you know, it's called, I mean, initially it was a goof on Hanna-Barbera, and I ended up calling the company Have a Banana. Yep. But Alex Toth was a big inspiration for these character designs. Sure. You know,
these are fantastic.
I was looking at it, you know. Yeah. And I had fun doing this, and I had fun just doing, you know, old school character designs on these sheets. It was a lot of fun to do. And I ended up doing a little animation for it too.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, the style works perfect for it. Did you import a type of paper for that background, or did you create that?
No, man. Retro Supply. Retro Supply is a really cool provider. It's a plugin, you know, for Procreate.
Oh, okay.
They have pens. They have Ben-Day dots. You know, the whole bit.
Oh, cool.
It's very cool. And there's also True Grit, something or other, True Grit Supply or something it's called. Both of those are plugins, and both are really great.
I'll have to look into it, because I mean, I bought an iPad back in December 2017.
Yeah,
we were traveling for the holidays, and a client I was working with needed something right away. And you know how it is. You don't say no. I'm like, okay, let me know what you need.
Sure,
I can get it done. And I told my wife, we were actually driving. So, you know, I live in North Carolina. They live in Syracuse, New York. We were driving to Syracuse. It was December 22nd. And it was like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And, you know, I was talking to the client. I said, okay, just send me the details. And I hung up. And I told my wife, I said, I got to go to Best Buy tomorrow. And she's like, why? I said, I got to buy an iPad. She's like, what? I said, hey, I can't turn this down. it could lead to something else. So, and my intent was, and I told her this, I said, look, I got to buy an iPad so I can get this work done. I said, if I'm not happy with working on an iPad and I don't really enjoy it, I'll just take it back.
Sure.
You know, because I won't even need it for 7 days. I literally just need it for like 3 days to do this thing.
Yeah, expensive for 3 days.
I ended up loving it, and she was like, "I'll just go ahead and keep it." So I still have it. It's a 2017 model, and you know, until they do something that's really mind blowing, the thing works great. I mean, so.
Yeah, I'm happy. I had to replace my 2017 one in 2020. I can't remember what happened to it, but the one I'm working with now is fine, and the storage is great on it. You know, I've stored a zillion things on it, and of course, other things go to the cloud. But I love it, and the Dacre Jones book was also done on this, and that is very retro. You know, in fact, I used. Whereas I colored, you know, with flat color and maybe some airbrushing and stuff on green screen, on Dacre Jones, it's all like the Ben-Day dot kind of stuff.
So that was that with that guy? By the way, just to get back to green screen, that just cracked me up. I mean, that was one of the funniest parts was her running the bar and the dwarves and stuff.
Oh man, I love that. Yeah, that's a fun thing. That was those characters were so much fun to do. You know, if you want to check out the TV show trailer, the animated trailer for that, I can.
Yeah, I will.
I can send you a link for that.
Is it not? I thought I saw something at the top of this page. Is it not here?
Maybe it is. Is it there?
Is that it?
Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Green
well, here it says the comic book, The Real Story.
No, it's not there.
Oh.
Scroll down a little bit. I think there's 3 big issues. I don't think I have the trailer up there.
Oh, okay.
Funny, why didn't I do that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put the link in the private chat, go ahead.
Yeah, let me do that, and I'll send it to you. Let me see. Edit. Copy. And
if somebody wanted to go and get these, if they were so interested, I assume there's a store on your website.
Yeah, you go to the if you go to my shop, the Etsy shop.
Etsy shop. Oh,
yep.
You know what? I should have blown that up a long time ago. I can read that now.
Yeah, and you can. I think somewhere at the bottom, green screen issues 2 and 1 are right. There's.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep. The green book with the multiple images of my character Bella. That's issue number 1, right?
Yep.
And then the other one is issue 2, right? So
nice.
Yeah, if people are interested, I you know, and if I find that more people are interested, I've got another story in my head that I would love to tell, and I love these characters, so it would be a lot of fun to do. Right now, I've been working on Dacre Jones, but they're all part of a larger project, which is called the Have a Banana Research Project, and that is what do you call it? A longer story about the history of this publishing company, which is a mock history. Let's see. Oh, there's an advertisement. Oh, well.
Hold on.
Sure.
Could you hear that?
I didn't hear it.
Did you hear it though?
No.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to have to read. I don't think I was sharing sound. Let me just do it again to where I'm sharing sound. Plus, I'll get past this stupid ad real quick.
Yeah.
All right, let me share it again.
Okie dokie.
This time we'll do it with sound. Yeah, Dacre Jones. I was just flipping through it. So all the Ben-Day dots, that's all Procreate, huh?
Yeah, and that comes from Retro Supply, which is great.
Damn, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you do. It's a lot of fun.
I might have to get that plug in.
Yeah, I think you do. It's cool, man. What's so great about it is the mixing of the colors. You know, it's so much fun to play with that. And you know, it really makes for a nice look in the printed book. Oh, there's the trailer.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit play.
Okay.
So let's Hold on. I got to find. There it is. All right.
That,
That's great.
thanks, man.
What did you animate that in?
Let's see now. I did it all on paper, and it.
Oh,
was
okay.
done-
I was gonna say you
yes,
can do stuff like that in Procreate now.
yes, I can, and I did do the tribute to Peanuts, which you can watch also. That's on the homepage.
Oh, okay.
The tribute to Peanuts I did in Procreate. That's all done in Procreate, which allows for a lot more nuance. But that stuff was done in paper, and then was it scanned or photographed? I can't remember now. But then brought into After Effects, Adobe After Effects, and then I worked. For
Oh, okay. Yeah, my daughter uses After Effects. I don't. Oh, Tarzan. Cool.
Was the ship based off the Jetsons?
Yeah. Yep. You betcha. There's lots of that stuff in my work, man. There's all these little references to stuff I love, and
That's great. Oh man, Little Abner. I love Little Abner.
yeah, I did too. Oh man, the artwork, Frazetta's artwork for Little Abner, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
Well, when you were talking about Plastino working on Nancy, my first thought was when Frazetta, worked on Little Abner for, what was it, 3 years?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got the collections.
Oh,
that
you
they
do?
put out of his, Frazetta's Little Abner or whatever.
I had
The
such
thing is, he was so on model
yeah.
with Al Cap
Yeah.
that, I guess if I really compared, I could see differences, but even to my eye, I'm just like, this just looks like Al Cap. It's so hard.
Yeah.
But
really, really amazing how he did that. It just goes to show what kind of quality was in what kind of skills that Frazetta had.
Yeah. So we've got a sign up page here for something you're going to be launching over the summer.
Yep, in June. Yeah, June 18th. This is called Dacre Jones and the Space Rockettes. Captain Dacre Jones and the Space Rockettes. It's like a mock 50s sci-fi comic, as though Wally Wood was doing, a comic like this.
Oh, nice.
Except it's like more satirical. I like to do. I can't get away from humor.
Oh yeah.
So it's all got that kind of quality in it. A little Mad Magazine, little kind of thing. And anyway, so this is the second issue. But what's interesting about this one is I did a project. It's going to be printed on newsprint as a tabloid newspaper. And each page is going to be as though it was a Sunday comic.
So this new one is?
This new one is. The other one is
cool.
a Golden Age size comic book, and that's on my Etsy site. But this one will be out in the summer, and it's going to be a tabloid newspaper about 12 by 15 or something like that, in full color. And it's going to be. I'm really excited about it. As I said, it's just like an old newspaper. And you can see. Let's see, do I have the pages up yet? I don't have the pages anywhere yet. Oh, when this goes live, you'll be able to see the pages. But if you go to my Instagram at Green Screen Comic, it's called at Green Screen Comic on Instagram. You can see some of the stuff that I'm doing for this.
Okay, cool.
I've got a couple pages done and the cover done, but I'll be doing. I see what you got on my Twitter there, Randy. I'm not on Twitter actually anymore. I've got that account, but I never use it. So the best place for me on social media is on Instagram at Green Screen Comic, which is one. But anyway, this comes out June 18th. It's going to be available by September. I'm taking it with me to Crossroads Columbus at Billy Ireland in September.
Oh, nice.
So that's always a great show. I've never done it before, but I'm excited about it. And,
wait, so what's the actual name of the show?
I think it's called Cartoon Crossroads Columbus. It's CXC 2024.
How long has it been around?
It's been around 10, 12 years since Billy Ireland. You know the Billy Ireland Museum?
Yeah, I do. That's why I was
Yeah, it's out. It's been there ever since they opened, I think, in 2012.
So is it mostly comic strip guys that go out to it, or
no? It's a variety of indie people, mostly. Yeah, people from independent comics, people from small press comics, people from who are publishing with outlets like Fantagraphics and
Yeah.
Toronto Quarterly and
Oh,
all
that's
that
cool.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, you have to email me the information on it.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, shoot it over.
It's a very cool show. Yeah, there we go. Somebody goes every
Oh, there
fall.
you go,
That's
Mark.
great.
That's
Maybe I'll see you
cool.
there. And I'm hoping to have this. I will have this.
Okay.
For that show. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a great Nancy exhibition up out there right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I don't follow newspaper strips as much as I used to. When I was a kid, my dad would just toss them to me at the other side of the kitchen table in the morning. I assume Nancy's still going.
Oh yeah. Nancy's
Who's the artist now?
Her name is Olivia. It's a pseudonym. I'm always forgetting what it is. Olivia. God, I'm forgetting the last name.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a pseudonym though. She's an interesting character. She doesn't want to be known.
Really?
For whatever reason, very shy.
Does she do her own work under her real name and stuff? Or
I don't know. I don't know. But when you're doing a daily comic strip, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But she's doing Nancy now, and it's very different. I have to say, it's not something I've warmed to. Some people really love it.
Does she write it?
Yeah, she writes it and draws
it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it is in the mold in some ways of what Ernie Bushmiller did. It's closer to Ernie Bushmiller's stuff than I think the last few people who did it. But in Bushmiller was all about visual puns,
Right.
And this is much more along those lines too. But it's colder, it's more antiseptic than Bushmiller's work was. There was a warmth about Bushmiller's drawing, even when it was, very standardized. Nancy always looked like this, and the backgrounds were always very kind of clean and empty, which is a big part of what Bushmiller's about. But there was a warmth to it, and I don't feel that warmth in what she does with Nancy. It feels kind of antiseptic to me. So I just don't warm up to it. But a lot of people like
to look at it now. Now I'm curious, so I'll have to
it's
search.
on Go Comics.
Yeah. Is she part of? Is the artist writer on it? Is she part of the NCS?
I think so, but I don't recognize her name there. So maybe she's not. Maybe she's there under her real name. I don't know.
Okay.
But you can. I'm sorry. I said Nancy was on Go Comics, but I think actually it's on King Features site.
Right. Well, I was just going to Google search it anyhow. That's
yeah. Oh gosh, I can't. It's terrible. I can't remember her last name. It's almost there on the tip of my tongue, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's
dude, totally.
One of those senior moments.
Look, I've known Dennis, for years, and I know his last name begins with I think it's a B.
Yeah, it's Smith.
It's a B. Burner, I think. Perner. No,
yeah, that's why his last name, he changed it legally to Smith, because he can't remember any other name. So
I got to tell you,
he had to go with the most popular name in both Britain and the United States.
It took me forever to remember Jones, and then I changed it to Smith.
I know. I know.
So, well, there you go. Well, now we're going to show real quick as we start to wrap it up. Kor-Drath, The Awakening by Dennis Turner. See, it says it right there, Dennis Turner.
Yeah,
with a T.
And you still forget it somehow.
Shut up. Kor-Drath, The Awakening. Myself, Dennis Turner. It's the newest Kor-Drath book. If you like Kor-Drath, The Reckoning, you will love Kor-Drath, The Awakening. The saga continues. Kor-Drath now has to see if he can save Adriana's tribe from the awful fate that fell upon his tribe in the first book, which was total decimation, if you're curious. And Vordoom, the Undying, is going to unleash as much of his power, undead armies and stuff, as he has to attain his goal. What will happen in this book? You need to back it to find out. If you missed out on The Reckoning, of course, we do have a tier for that. I'll even just jump right down to it. It's right there, the catch-up tier, with the new Budroot cover on The Reckoning, second printing, and you get the regular cover of Kor-Drath, The Awakening. Yesterday, if you didn't see, we brought back, go back up, we brought back the beanie. So you can get yourself a beanie for those cold winter months featuring the Kor-Drath logo. I have one. It warms up my bald head so nicely. Dennis won't wear it because he gets hot because he has hair. He likes to rub that in. But what Dennis and I both wear are the Kor-Drath t-shirts. Get yourself one of those. The main t-shirt is back, the heavy metal looking shirt featuring Kor-Drath and Adriana. And then we are doing a Bud Root t-shirt featuring Adriana from his variant cover that he did for us, which matches nicely with the Lelneth shirt from the previous campaign. All sizes available. Preview page is up for you guys to look at who haven't backed it yet and want to check it out. Character profiles. A new game that Dennis is bringing your way. If you like the first role-playing game from the first campaign, you'll love this one. Totally new story, totally new game.
New cover, new artwork by Bart Sears, colored by Dan Lawless.
That's right. We pulled those guys back into the mix to do the cover. They knocked this one out of the park, just like the other one. So check that out as well. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, of course, always do a parody ad. Jeff, every book of mine has a parody ad.
I love it.
Dennis does a great job writing these things.
Fabulous.
And they're just fun to draw on them.
And you can see there's a new character in it this time.
That's right. Somebody recognizable to people our age growing up. Guys, we are creeping up. 50,000 opens the first stretch goal, which is the Vordoom playable character card. Art on the front by myself and Dan Lawless, and on the back, his beautiful stats, so you can play him in the Kor-Drath role-playing game or convert him easily to whatever role-playing game you like to play. A few great add-ons like Kor-Drath, The Awakening, the layouts. It's a book of just my penciled layouts before I start inking, so you can see the difference, see a little peek behind the curtain. We've got The Reckoning in a manga-sized digest in black and white. We've got it a little larger digest, full color.
But these are E for everyone. So for those of you
right.
who want your children to be able to see this and not have some of the nudity and stuff in it, there you go. You have your children-friendly books.
That's right. And for the role players out there, we have the Kor-Drath figure, which you can get a 2-inch size, perfect for role-playing games, a 3-inch size, or the Big Bad Booty Daddy 5-inch size Kor-Drath,
which our buddy Chris is painting right now. If you saw him on our show yesterday, the update, it's turning absolutely incredible. He's doing a great job.
And there's the collector's box. You can get it with the featured tier, the Awakening tier, which features all the covers to Kor-Drath, The Awakening. That's 5 covers, 5 books, plus the game module, plus all the stretch goals, plus the Adriana trading card. And it comes with the collector's box. And if you want, you can buy one book and just add the collector's box on upon checkout. So go look at that. And then the other thing we just launched yesterday is the sign-up page for the all ages Kor-Drath, A Christmas Miracle children's book.
The children's book and an activity book. We're going to have both of them available for all your little readers out there that want all the goodness of barbarian life with all the happiness of Christmas all rolled into one.
That's right. And like Dennis said, we're doing an activity book that is, the children's book is 24 pages. The activity book is going to be 32 to 36 pages. The whole story in black and white to color with the text so you can read it. And then we're adding in some activity pages, connect the dots, word search, crossword stuff, all suitable for younger readers to do.
And best of all, parents, your kids can take it in the car with you on trips and get them off their phones.
Oh, you and I were thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we were.
I was saying, get them off that tech and get them into reading. Got some sample pages from the book up here you guys can check out. So the links for all this stuff is in the description below, so you can go check it out. And sign up today. It will launch in July because, like they say, I don't know who invented it, but Christmas in July.
Mhm.
Yep. And then down below, we do have Jeff's information as well in the description below. So for those of you not watching this live and watching it afterwards, you can just hit the description, go down and see it, and click on them.
Marcus says Jeff's Kickstarter comic is right up my alley.
Oh,
So there you go.
I'm so glad, man. I love Kor-Drath.
Thank you.
And I'm backing both the Awakening and I back the Reckoning too. I got the Reckoning as well. It's just fabulous, man. Right up my love of Conan alley. That.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man, it's great.
Well, shoot down that Zero issue for green screen. I'll send you up the first couple volumes of my superhero book, First Man, to check out.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Man.
So
I'd love to see that. Yeah,
and do that.
That's so great. Yeah.
But thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great to meet you, Jeff.
Oh, it's great to meet you too, Dennis. And it's just great to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it's just great to hang out with you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, let us know when the campaign definitely is live. You said June 18th, so sometime after that, we'll have to have you back on when it's actually live.
All right.
And see if we can get you some backers and stuff for it.
Yep.
Great.
And
Great.
guys, go make sure you get on the mailing list for the Kickstarter. So we had up in there. So hopefully you get a great turnout. Hopefully you get a bunch of new signups from this.
Thank you so much, fellas. I really appreciate it. And, continued luck with Kor-Drath. And, man, I can't wait for this next issue. I can't believe I have to wait till March.
It'll be here. Hey, you just got to think of it like a movie in the sequel. You go, I can't wait for that sequel. A year, it'll be worth the wait. Yeah. And speaking of movies, Dennis and I are seeing the movie If.
The new Ryan Reynolds tonight.
Tomorrow night. Ryan Reynolds, written by John Krasinski. I think he directed it too. We're seeing that tomorrow night, which means Friday morning, bright and early, our movie review drops. So you can see if it's a movie you want to see. Next week, 3 p.m., I'll be back. Probably have a guest host because Dennis will be out of town. I'll probably watch something next week, but I guess we won't have a review up next week. So
we will not.
We'll figure something out. Who knows? Maybe we can slam something together. I don't know. Until then.
Or you could just go see Fall Guy.
Well, we did see Unfrosted and could do a review of that.
We could do that.
So there's smart guy. And I will see Fall Guy this weekend. See, the abuse continues. Now I got to go eat dinner with this guy and even get more of it because he likes to spit up when he talks. It's like having a baby again. Good Lord. I got to wear a bib.
This is what I have to put up with.
Oh, you have to put up with it.
That's right. Boy, this truly is going to be a 2-week vacation.
You know why our camera's so far away? So they can't see the makeup on my face from how you beat me, you bastard.
Wait till that camera goes off.
When he to the moon, Andy, is what he says. The older people in the audience will get that reference. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you for watching. Go check out our friend show, Graybeards, and then Graham Nolan's Star Trek show tonight.
Oh, yeah. Live long and prosper.
Bye, everybody.